Coming from a person whose family has always been in the medical field, I can tell you that a communication is key when time is life and practice makes perfect. My name is Emily Magallanes, and I'm here to share with you how interpersonal communication skills and professionalism are the competencies often noted in emergency medical field and viewed as exemplary by peers. In times of crisis and stress times, events go by much easier when everyone is calm and communicating with others with effective styles of interpersonal communication and using the medical language. Communication is what most people see as exemplary by their peers, and often looked upon and respected. The main points I'll be talking about today is being part of the medical field and a first responder, as an ED tech, nurse, doctor, PA, is already an honor. Being an emergency physician, as you're already looked as exemplary, being pointed out for being the most accurate and communicative ones is even better. I'll first be talking about the 6 competencies that are needed to be in the field. And then I will be talking about the questions the researchers asked and their findings on what makes someone exemplary. Lastly, I will show you how this research page is used in my current life and how communication is key in getting a good reputation in your specialty. The research article by Timothy Sproul, Stephen Nazario, and Dale Scott Birnbaum, titled Interpersonal Communication Skills and Professionalism, are the competencies most often noted in emergency medicine physicians judged by exemplary as by their peers. Discusses what those true topics are and what truly makes the EM physicians be able to do what they do. To become a resident before you're an actual physician, it takes 4 years of an undergraduate program, along with 4 years in medical school, and then 3 to 7 years in a residency program to learn the specialty that you choose to learn. The 6 competencies are: interpersonal communication skills is number 1. Number 2 is professionalism. 3 is practice-based learning and improvement. 4 is patient care. 5 is medical knowledge. And 6 is system-based practice. This topic falls under Chapter 3 in our textbook, which is titled Language and Relationships, which is about the symbolic nature of language and using different communication skills in relationships. Language is contextual, and language communicates identity. EM physicians communicate using jargon, which is a field-specific term. Then there is slang, a group of specific terms, and then there are names, which is more than just the simple names of identification. So what is an exemplary physician? What does it look like? Another question the research paper states and answers is the 3 service factors that contribute to satisfaction in showing what an exemplary EM physician is, and are their interpersonal skills and staff attitudes, provision of information and explanations, and perceived waiting times, which what makes up to them to be such a great physician. And is how are these people perceiving us outside of the medical field as well? Or is this how people perceive us by our style of communication? Because I know I can confuse people whenever I start talking about something medical or like different points of the body or where things come from, or just medical things. And EM physicians are known for being outstanding in their chosen specialty rather than merely competent. So like a cardiologist, just someone who studies specifically cancer or their eyes, different things. Being able to communicate patients about their illness or their condition. The problems and resolutions take practice and great communication skills. Being able to communicate with their coworkers takes patience and skills too, because not everyone will be on the same page. There's plenty of arguing behind the scenes rather than being right in front of a patient. The ways I learned this in my life, I can barely do it now due to COVID, but before I always spent a lot of time at the fire station when I was 15, and just being around the scene. And Joey was a PA earlier and is now the paramedic firefighter at the station. He taught me everything I knew before I actually went to EMT class. And so at first it was kind of hard. He would just kind of hand things to me and I didn't know where they went or what I was supposed to do with them. And he would simply like communicate with me what to do very briefly, because there'd be a patient in the ambulance with us. But it's hard to kind of keep things collected when you don't know what's going on with them, or I don't know, at least. Joey did, but it's just kind of, it was difficult until after, when he would actually go into detail what everything meant of what he said. I learned this from an article, that it's not the most important thing to be based on how much information you know medically, but rather the communication that you show during that time is what matters most. Just like telling the patient all the good things, doing the best you can to protect them, and having clear communication of what to do with your partner or other staff members during that time, and being clear on exactly what you need done. Or for another example, it's just kind of hard to get things across to patients when they're intoxicated or on drugs or just mentally unstable. You'd have to know different ways of communication in order to get the message to them. In times of crisis and stressed times, events go by much easier when everyone is calm and communicating with effective styles of interpersonal communication and using the medical language. Communication is what is most seen as exemplary by their peers, not how much knowledge they know medically. But that always helps too. I've always thought of people in the ER or doctor's office at the fire station that they're respected by how much knowledge they know medically, and things they've been on, how long they've been working for the field. I thought respect was by that, but it's with that and communication. How they communicate with others during a call, how they communicate after, different ways to teach each other. That's just has a huge impact on how everyone perceives the situation, including the patient. It was hard to see struggling times during a call or at the ER, but the doctors and the nurses were able to keep everyone cool and collected, and knowing that I'm going to be going into that soon, that learning from this class that it's just communication is key when time is